In the world of comic book legends, few names resonate with as much sheer power as Superman and the Hulk. These two titans, one a beacon of hope from another world, the other a volatile force born of human experimentation, represent two very different versions of strength, resilience, and fury. But what would happen if these colossal forces of nature ever collided? Today we dive deep into the powers, personalities, and potential of Superman and the Hulk, and explore what would happen if these two giants went head-to-head in a battle for the ages. In this video, we will be pitting Superman against the classic Hulk, the green-skinned giant whose strength increases with his anger. Stick around till the end, where we will explore a detailed fight scenario between the two and explain how the fight would play out, before giving a definitive answer as to who would ultimately win. Strength that can move planets, speed that outpaces light, and senses that reach across continents, Superman is often seen as the most powerful superhero in the DC universe. His powers are vast and multifaceted: invulnerability, flight, heat vision, freeze breath, telescopic and microscopic vision, super speed, super strength, and a healing factor that allows him to recover from nearly any injury. His mind processes information faster than a supercomputer, and he can survive in space, the core of stars, even dimensions beyond our own. But it's not just about what he can do, it's how he chooses to use it. Superman doesn't fight with rage, he fights with purpose, with restraint. That restraint, however, should never be mistaken for weakness. Because when pushed, when truly pushed, Superman is capable of and in a one-on-one clash without preparation, they rarely come into play. Now let's look at his opponent. The classic Hulk, not an intergalactic destroyer or a devilish immortal, but the original incarnation that fans first encountered in the early comics. Born from a failed gamma experiment, Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk whenever his anger reaches a boiling point. And when that happens, there's no telling what kind of destruction will follow. Classic Hulk's power is simple, but terrifying. The angrier he gets, the stronger he becomes. It's a linear power curve with no defined ceiling, and that's what makes him dangerous. Hulk can leap miles in a single bound. He can crush tanks with a single blow. His thunderclaps can level buildings. His skin deflects artillery fire, and his healing factor allows him to recover from nearly any wound. While later versions of Hulk have fused his intellect and power, classic Hulk is ruled by instinct and emotion. He doesn't strategize, he reacts. But don't confuse this for clumsiness. The Hulk's raw combat sense, coupled with his boundless endurance, has allowed him to go toe-to-toe with some of the most powerful beings in Marvel history. Even when outmatched in speed or skill, Hulk doesn't give up, he doesn't stop, and he doesn't fall easily. Now that we know what each Titan brings to the table, let's explore where they might gain the upper hand. In raw strength, Hulk is a growing threat. Classic Hulk has shown the ability to lift hundreds of tons, and as his rage builds, that number continues to climb. However, Superman's base strength already sits in the planetary scale, and at full output, he's performed feats like moving the Earth, holding black holes, and bench pressing the weight of the planet for days without tiring. While Hulk can reach terrifying levels of power, Superman starts there. And he doesn't need to get angry to access it. But the real game changer is speed. Superman is, quite simply, fast enough to move across the globe. Hulk, on the other hand, has superhuman levels of speed. He is capable of swatting jets out of the sky and catching missiles, but he is nowhere near Superman's level. This speed edge allows Superman to dictate the flow of battle, hit and retreat, analyze and strike again. Hulk can't fight what he can't catch. Durability is where things get interesting. Hulk has an incredible healing factor. He's taken hits from Thor's hammer, shrugged off tank shells, and fought through injuries that would drop almost anyone else. Superman, on the other hand, often doesn't get injured at all. He can withstand nuclear. Hulk can recover, Superman often doesn't need to. Another crucial distinction is mindset. Classic Hulk is emotional, reactive, and driven by rage. Superman is deliberate, disciplined, and mission-focused. He doesn't just overpower his enemies, he outthinks them. So what happens when these two finally meet? Now we will walk through a hypothetical fight between Superman and the Hulk to determine who would most likely win. If you enjoy this kind of content, we post videos like this weekly, pitting iconic characters against each other. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our epic Who Would Win battles. The stage is Earth, maybe a shattered city, maybe an abandoned desert. Somewhere desolate, where nothing will interrupt them and nothing will survive. The Hulk is already raging, perhaps triggered by a military weapon or an attack on someone he loves. Superman arrives, trying first to reason with the creature. He doesn't want to fight, but Hulk is past listening. He sees a threat, a flying man in a cape who dares to challenge him. The first punch is Hulk's, and it shakes the earth. Superman is slammed back, skidding across the ground. He gets up, unharmed, his eyes narrow. The air vibrates, then he moves. To the human eye, it's invisible. A blur of blue and red flashes past Hulk, striking him in the gut. Then the jaw, then the knee. Hulk roars in frustration, swinging wildly. He hits nothing but air. Then Superman hovers above him, eyes glowing. A blast of heat vision erupts, forcing Hulk to shield his face. His skin sizzles, but he doesn't fall. He leaps, higher than any creature should be able to, and slams into Superman mid-air. The shockwave cracks the sky. The two crash to the ground in a crater of dust and fire. Now it's a slugfest. Superman's fists hammer Hulk's ribs, but Hulk's punches begin to land too. The battle becomes brutal as both continue to land powerful blows as the earth around them trembles. As the minutes stretch on, Hulk begins to adapt. His strength increases with his growing rage, and each hit he takes makes him angrier. And the angrier he gets, the harder it becomes for Superman to knock him down. Superman realizes the danger. He can't let this fight continue. So Superman changes tactics. He flies upward, far above the clouds. Hulk roars from below. Then Superman dives. Faster than a meteor, he strikes Hulk with the force of a comet, smashing into the earth. The impact vaporizes the surrounding terrain. Hulk is buried beneath tons of rock and rubble. There is silence. Then the rubble moves. Hulk climbs out. Slower, bruised, but alive, and still angry. More dangerous than ever. Superman stands at a distance, breathing heavily. He's impressed, maybe even concerned. But he's not finished. He flies forward again, but this time he unleashes everything. Heat vision, super breath, sonic booms, all focused on destabilizing Hulk's rage, knocking him unconscious before he can reach critical mass. Hulk swings wildly, blocking some of the attacks and attempting to knock Superman out of the air. Hulk's movements begin to slow as he is pushed past his limits. And then, Superman strikes again, moving forward in a blur, going into a controlled frenzy of blows, dodging Hulk's massive swings with impossible speed, weaving between fists, and retaliating with lightning-fast punches that land like thunderclaps. Every strike is calculated, relentless, a blur of red and blue crashing against green muscle. Then, in a sudden burst of strength, Superman grips onto the Hulk, lifts him off the ground, and rockets upward, high into the atmosphere. The two disappear into the sky, vapor trailing behind them as they breach the clouds, and then they descend. Faster than sound, Superman drives Hulk downward like a meteor, and with a thunderous impact, smashes him into the earth. The ground erupts around them, a shockwave splitting the landscape, but Superman doesn't stop. He stands over the dazed Hulk, fists pounding down in a flurry of supercharged strikes, each one causing the ground beneath them to fracture, crumble, and sink under the weight of their battle. The very earth caves beneath their fury, and then, finally, Superman delivers a final devastating blow. The Hulk goes still, unconscious, not dead, never dead, but down. The fight is over. Superman wins because he possesses the perfect combination of overwhelming power, unmatched speed, tactical intelligence, and emotional control. While the classic Hulk's strength grows with rage and makes him a nearly unstoppable force, he lacks the speed and strategic thinking needed to keep up with Superman in a true battle. Superman's ability to think, move, and strike faster than the eye can follow allows him to stay one step ahead at all times. His durability rivals Hulk.